And he's worked very hard on this. I can attest to that. So, TJ, good luck. I know everybody will be impressed with your work.
Woo! Go to drip.
Thank you, Mr. Foods. Hello, everybody. My name is Thomas Wogan, and I've done my presentation on character design and development. Before we begin, I will say that I would like you guys to hold all the questions till the end, and most of this will not be focused on development itself, but how far I've developed one of my specific characters throughout last year, well, June of 2012, and as of now. Here's a little bit of history. The first cartoon animation character that was ever made was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and Felix the Cat. However, Oswald was lost his rights by Walt Disney, so Walt Disney had to create Mickey Mouse in his place. And as far as I know, Felix the Cat is still in use to this day. Oswald was only recently owned by Disney again when the release of Epic Mickey was made. For this presentation, as I mentioned, I'll be focusing on my personal favorite character that I have developed throughout the years. Her name is Anu Komoashi. Pronunciation is right there, so nobody gets confused. Anu's creation was relatively basic for me at the time. I just thought of a really bare bones design until I can easily come up with a better and more realistic kind of concept for her. Heavy inspiration came from Ryoichi Cooper from the Sly Cooper series and my own personal fascinations with ancient Japanese culture. And this was the very first sketch of Anu that I've ever drawn. It's very awkward to look at now. Her original story was scrapped and replaced with a more personal and meaningful story. Her final design and concept was originally thought of, but I eventually decided to create another concept that was, as of 2013, I believe. Her original backstory was she just decided to become a ninja, kind of like a Robin Hood thing, just for fun, but now it's a lot more complicated and personal. She was shamed by her parents ever since she was born. It was a classic, we wanted a boy, we got a girl, and plus we didn't want a child anyway kind of thing. So they sealed a powerful demon within her soul as her punishment, and she eventually had to run away from home, and she met a female ninja that basically took her in and taught her as one of their own. Given that Anu broke away from her real family, she met up with a couple of powerful beings in another realm. The realm has no official name, so I'm just going to call it the realm of the Yugure for simplicity. She met various different people, and the main people that she trusted around, the ones you see as family, are Shinji Motosuwa, Raku Motosuwa, and her deity, the goddess of desire. The one on the right, well, the one on the left is Raku, and the one on the left is Shinji. She met Shinji and Raku upon wandering around one of the forest regions in the realm after she was trying to find a way to figure out where she was. And Desire she met in one of Anu's dreams, stating that her passion for protecting those she loved were incredibly powerful, and that she was going to be Desire's chosen emperor, and was basically a fancy word for child, so to speak. An original concept, well, an official concept was confirmed as of 2013. It was the idea that she would decide to learn various elemental properties to not only improve her stats as a ninja, but also as a warrior to defend those that she cares about. The choices she narrowed down were light and thunder, fire and shadows, and earth with minoring in psychic. Anu soon decided to narrow her choices to fire minoring in shadow and earth minoring in psychic for personal reasons, because she didn't want anyone that she loved to abandon her because of her choice with light and thunder. But that's a bit of a complicated story. The various different elemental paths. She decided to train with various different teachers in order to learn each element. Each teacher has their own personality and their own means of training her. first, the different types. First, there's no, on before training.
Good afternoon. Just a reminder that at 1 o'clock, teachers, please send your Honor Society candidates to the multipurpose room. Again, teachers, please send your Honor Society candidates to the multipurpose room at 1 p.m. Thank you.
Anu, as normally, she studied various different types of ninja tactics and culture. She's very socially awkward, very paranoid. She created her own fighting style, which we'll get into later, and she hates to be without friends. She does enjoy quite a lot of sweets. She does love to eat a lot. She likes reading, and she adores music, but she doesn't really actively say that. Next is Earth. This is the typical strength type kind of thing in what you would normally have in any kind of media. Her personality is significantly different than before. She's always fun to talk to people, very honest, obviously very strong. Her secret fighting style that I mentioned earlier adapts, and she specializes in tonfas, which are basically nightsticks, katanas, tonfa blades, punches, kicks, and various telekinetic abilities. She's very active, and she wears weighted clothing, which is the brown part you see, the brown robe she's wearing. And she's considered the official elemental selection between them all. This is what she looks like when she doesn't have her brown robe on. It's basically like weighted clothing, that when she removes it, she moves like significantly faster, like an instant's notice. Fire is the exact opposite. She's very impatient. She's the typical berserker type in a sense. She likes to use different techniques that would not only hurt the enemy but also herself, but she doesn't really care, as evidenced by the scars. She enjoys a lot of spicy food. She's a very big eater like last time. She enjoys sake, which is basically Japanese rice wine. And she hates to wait around idly. She prefers to just get stuff done. Boundary is an evolution sort of thing. After Anu learns how to master both Earth and Psychic, she eventually consults with somebody who can master in special boundaries, which are basically kind of like portals in a sense. She can open one somewhere else and open another one somewhere else and fall through it, and she ends up going through it. She can carry various different things in them, like consumables, like drinks, potions, stuff like that. She's very patient, very noble, and elegant, and she's also very graceful on her feet. Like, she's very fast, and she doesn't have to worry about stumbling on it. As I mentioned earlier, each trainer will give her different meanings of training for each element, and often it works out pretty well for her, and she decides to live with them in order to learn everything faster. Training with the primary element will be 6 months, while the secondary element will be 3 months. I'm not really going to say anything for the next few parts, considering that there's not really much to say, but I will explain teachers and what they are. The teacher of Earth is basically a demon of hope. He's hopelessly optimistic. He's always like telling people to fight the good fight, even if the situation doesn't really dictate it. He's very laid back and really easy to get along with. Hold on, do that for a second. Yep. His methods of training are rather loose, so to speak. Obviously, if you're going to be getting stronger, you have to keep up your balance, you need to work out daily and that kind of stuff. But he's also the type that likes to relax often, and after a hard day of training, often these two will have nice conversations over a nice, like, just relaxing. Psychic is another complicated one. After Anu learns how to manipulate Earth, she consults a fallen goddess of psychic energy to train her in various telekinetic abilities. Her methods will be more than enough meditation, which Anu is very used to, practicing various telepathic abilities like lifting objects and generating minor things, And another interesting thing is fasting, which is not eating for a long period of time. This is significant because it will also, what it does is it will train the body to focus on other things other than what the human body needs. Like if you have more focus with something, you'll be able to perform something a lot easier with the human mind. Fire is where it gets a bit nuts. The teacher of fire lives in a hell itself, and Anu, creating power to use to her advantage, decides to learn how to manipulate fire and as well as her own body in various different matters to, well, get the job done. While she's in the underworld, her mind will become significantly more twisted due to the screaming souls of the underworld, and she becomes frighteningly more sadistic and likes to prolong fights. Quite a bit of a difference between everybody, between her. Shadow is more of the stealth type. She'll learn how to hide in the shadows more. She'll learn how to manipulate darkness itself to her advantage, and she'll learn various different trapping techniques with the help of this girl here. By the way, that's Anu hiding in a bush over there. You guys ready to go on? Boundary is where it gets a bit illogical. Boundary, as I mentioned, is a very powerful form of magic, and if you don't do it right, things get weird, as evidenced by this picture. It's one of those things where if you try to make logic of it, it's going to hurt your head quite a bit because it basically takes every form of logic and just throws it out the window. Anything can be possible if you mess this magic up or you succeed in it. That is supposed to be a cube of jello. She's spiritually connected with various different beings, although mainly two of them, and she meditates daily in order to keep that connection with these spiritual beings strong. In terms of spiritual connection, these two are her deity and someone else. We'll get into that. Her deity, the goddess of desire, was a lost deity who would hide around. Like she went into hiding to try to find somebody to become her envoy. She met Anu through her dreams, explaining her passions to protect someone she loved. She's the guardian of Anu's soul and her passion, meaning if she were to die, she would keep her soul and just have her there in case she needs to come back. She's very motherly towards Anu and always speaking in a very gentle tone. Her insignia is a bleeding heart with chains hanging from it. I do believe I asked Angie to draw that. Thank you. It's really good. This one's the demon. This is the demon that was sealed in Anu's soul. Ude Akuma, which is the literal translation of armed devil. He was sealed within Anu's soul as Anu's punishment, and before he would always attempt to take over her soul in order to try to escape. After a murder of somebody and the motives to a name, he had a change of heart and became one of her closest allies. He's very honorable and always likes to fight fair. His left arm is made entirely of crystal, up to the elbow, and he can turn into a claw if he needs to. And he has a specially curved rapier for combat, and much like Psychic Anu, he's very quick on his feet. Any questions?
I had one, but I forgot it.
Yeah, I had a question too. I had like two.
When did you start drawing and getting into animation teaching?
That started around, I think, 6th grade. But everything else, all of that was initially scrapped, and I just came up with this concept. I think it works really well.
Do you get any ideas from anything else, or did you make it all up?
No, everything has to have inspiration. I got some of the characters here have had heavy inspiration from other genres. As I mentioned with Anu, I had the idea with not only my interest in Japanese culture, but also Ryu and Japanese like Hoover sisters. Now, why I didn't put that a inspiration thing up is because one of the characters that the creator of Desire, he based his design off of somebody from an MMORPG called Rusty Heart. His character's name is Roselle. I would have the picture up there, but it's a bit, it wouldn't be really considered school acceptable, so I'll just let you look that up on your own time.
Okay, I have one.
Yes, Peter?
Is all you ever lost control of powers? Like, what happens when you lost control of powers? Does he try to...
What do you mean?
Does it get out of hand?
Yeah.
Wait, is it, like, painful for her?
Does she ever try and do something and then it end up terrible?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually how the training usually works out. Like, she tries to do something, but it backfires on her, which is most apparent with fire. Hey, what was your question, Greg?
In the future, are you ever going to try making it into a manga?
I actually was thinking, I had the idea of this based off, while I was creating this, I had the mindset of it becoming more of a video game kind of thing.
Good story.
The best, if you're trying to make a character for anything, the best thing I can say is imagine as if you were making it for a video game. Try to put as many little details as possible into it. You need to put very tiny things like their religious beliefs, their favorite food, stuff like that. Every bit of detail can make something feel truly alive.
Do you write the backstory and the characteristics before you draw the character?
No, usually I draw the character first, and then I work with the backstory there based on how the design of the character looks. That's actually how I thought of On. I decided to draw her out first because I was bored one summer afternoon. And I just immediately, when I finished, I immediately thought of a backstory, which was initially scrapped. Yes, Nick?
They all look like kind of like the same, and they have like the same eyes. So are they like all the same like race?
They're all the same. Well, each different path. It's still the real. It's still Anu. It's more of like a different. It's more like a what if kind of thing. Like if
Well, there's like the teachers too. Like, are they a race? Like a different kind of race?
No, it's just my art style.
Are they humans?
Human looking. Most of them are human looking, but Desire's the only one that actually looks like a human. Well, like human. Anu is basically half human and half cat, as evidenced by the cat ears and the cat tail.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Any more questions? Yes?
Was it hard for you to make this design at first? Like, did you instantly have a vision in your head as to how the character would look, or was it kind of...
It was very hard to think of a design for her, honestly. It took me quite a couple of hours to actually think of a decent design for her. Anything else? Yes.
So your inspirations are what you liked when you were younger. You said you liked Sly Cooper, and
Yes.
what are like was Disney a big influence or just?
No, Disney was not really a significant influence.
Animaniacs?
Not really.
No?
You think you were more influenced by video game
Yeah, video
animation?
games and Japanese animation. Yes?
Other than a video game, could you see this as an anime show?
Yes, I can actually. That's actually another interesting thing that I would like to see on reality someday.
You should.
Everybody good?
Good.
All right. I think you are one of the most passionate presenters that I've seen since I've been teaching this class.